So guys, I'm joined by Lewis today from Horus Heresy Birmingham. John and I have just finished recording. Lewis, do you want to tell everyone who you are?
I'm Lewis from Horus Heresy Birmingham, you just said.
Well, yeah, so great summary from Lewis there. So for those that don't know, Lewis sort of runs the 30k scene down at board in Brum. He was sort of my point of entry into 30k, and it's been a really great game to pick up alongside Marvel, which is the superior game system. Lewis won't admit it. Anyway, so just going to talk quickly about the meetup that we're doing on the 18th, some of our favourite changes going into 2.0 and what we're going to be working on. So, Lewis, what's happening on the 18th down at Boarding Brum?
Well, the 18th obviously is, to most of you know, is the release date for the Heresy 2.0 starter box set, so that should be arriving, hopefully.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. We've waited long enough, haven't we?
On the 18th. I know we set up an event starting around 10 o'clock for the guys who've pre-ordered their boxes to pop down, get the boxes, get some games in, trade some parts, etc. Obviously, you can pop down if you've not got a box to come down and have a look. We should have
to see what's going on, really.
Hopefully, we should have some painted armies and stuff there as well, so we should be able to get some demo games in. It's more just to kind of say, come get your box, come swap some models, maybe you want to sell some models, buy some more models, etc. Just kind of say hello, see who's around, and kind of see who's local, who's playing the game. Just obviously, just have an excuse for coming down and playing some...
get out of the house for a little bit, play with some toy soldiers. So yeah, like Lewis said, it's hopefully going to be a really good day. John, say hello from behind the camera.
Hello folks.
So I don't know if John's going to join us, as 30k isn't really his thing, but there's definitely going to be a lot of people down talking heresy, getting all the Mark 6 speakers out of the boxes. Personally, I don't like them. I like Mark 3.
Nice, they're nice.
Yeah, but Mark 3 is the left guard way, and I think everyone knows that. So, going into 2.0, Lewis, you and I, as well as a few other people in the local group, have conveniently had some rules that may or may not be playtesting.
We've seen some leaked documents. I think the worst kept secret games.
Yeah, the least kept secret in heresy.
It is heresy. I think a lot of us have had a little play with the leaked stuff that we've seen anyway. Obviously, we gathered, seeing the stuff that's been coming out, dribs and dabs over the last month. A lot of the stuff it's not identical, but it's about 95% the way there. So
the things we've sort of had in the playtesting documents that just randomly appeared on my phone. I don't know why you just woke up to these PDF documents and boom, and here it is, Heresy 2.0. So what I've seen, what we've been playing, compared to what Games Workshop have finally actually released officially, it's pretty much the same, isn't it?
It's very close. There's a couple of tweaks, but I think I think you find it's going to be 95 is probably
definitely.
Or even more is identical to what we've seen previously. So it seems to be pretty close to what we've been playing with. And obviously, I think you've had some games with it, and I've had some games with it. I think we've both enjoyed our games with it. I know there's some stuff that we want to get some more games in to get a better opinion of, but it's been definitely pretty good. I don't know what you've enjoyed so far, because you didn't get too much. You had a little play with 1.0, but which one have you preferred so far?
I definitely prefer 2.0, mainly because I love Contemptor Dreadnoughts. I think they're like the coolest unit ever.
You did not get on well with your Contemptors.
And in 1.0 I was like, Contemptors are rubbish, I don't want them, this isn't Marvel Crisis Protocol, this is just not great. Because my Contemptors just get hit by a las cannon and would explode, or they'd get melted bombed in the face and they'd explode. Basically, lots of things led to my Contemptors exploding, which wasn't great. However, in 2.0, for those of you that don't know, Contemptors now come with a toughness value and a wounds characteristic, so they're much more like a monstrous creature, I think.
Yeah, of the old. They've got their own unit type, which is Dreadnought, it's very close to the old monstrous creatures rules.
Yep.
The big thing for them is obviously they can't be instant death from what we've seen, but they're definitely a lot more durable, and they're a lot more impactful compared to what they were.
I think now you sort of have to really think about how to react to a Contemptor wading into your lines, rather than, oh, it's okay, my veterans have melter bombs.
Yeah.
Poof, and he's gone, clamp onto the shell of it and it explodes. So for me, Heresy 2.0, the big change for me has definitely been Contemptor Dreadnoughts. I've played a bunch of games with them, running double fist Contemptors, walking up the board, smashing the way about. We've seen on Warhammer Community now their actual profile, The only thing that's changed from playtesting documents that randomly appeared to the actual rules is the movement 8, aren't they?
I think they were 8 in the documents. I think we
just played them as 7. Yeah, so they're faster than I thought, basically. I assumed in the Death Guard way that everything was 7, that the Contemptors move 7, my units move 7. Turns out, Contemptors move 8, so they're going to be absolutely sprinting up the board. Lewis, for you, what are your favourite things from what we know of the new edition?
Well, I suppose that before we go into that, I suppose the big thing is, as you just said, talk about reactions. You're reacting. The reactions are a big thing. They, I know they've been quite contentious within the community. I think looks to be there's some ways to break them, but I think it looks like they've been designed to work, and there are ways to work with them and work against them. So I think we need to see some more games with them in place and different what people do with them. But I know I've enjoyed using them. Obviously, I suppose the big downside is that now with the reactions, you've got to pay attention in your opponent's turn.
It's not just a turn where you take your toys off, is it?
You've definitely got to pay attention and keep an eye on where things are. And obviously, playing yourself with your background with Marvel and stuff like that. I know you're quite used to movement and so I've seen the reactions you're able to do, moving rhinos and troops and stuff with some of these reactions and returning fire. It's made things. It's shook things up, and it's given a bit more tactical
sort of depth to the game almost.
You're not once your turn's over, that's not the end.
You've still got to be very much involved and be aware of what your opponent's doing. And I think, as you said, with games like Marvel, you are still very active, even when it isn't necessarily your turn to activate a character. And I think having that in the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness makes it a lot more engaging for both players, because you can't just open fire into an enemy line and not have any repercussions. The enemy might go to ground and get a 5+ shrouded save. They might even return fire, which can be a little bit brutal to be on the receiving end of.
We could come out a lot worse than you expect.
Yeah, definitely not worth shooting a Leviathan if you've just got one shot, because when it shoots back, it's gonna hurt, isn't it?
There's not gonna be a lot left of whatever he hits.
Yeah. So anyway, that's reactions. Lewis, what is that? What you've enjoyed the most, or is it something else?
I've quite liked the. I've only had a little chance to play with it a couple of times. There's obviously the changes to the psychic phase. I think that's definitely a lot more streamlined.
Well, it's now, if it's a shooting psychic power, it happens in the shooting phase. If it's a combat psychic power, it happens in the combat phase. The psychic phase is completely gone, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no psychic phase. If you do want to casting powers, like you said, it can be in certain phases, and now it's just a leadership test. If you pass, great. If you fail, then obviously you take D3 wounds on the unit, not just as in the unit you're there with as well.
So it's a much more streamlined version of sort of Perils of the Warp and the old psychic phase, which now is just wholly within the respective phases. As I said, I think your Dark Angels Librarian, we were giving an intro game, he has a psychic power that's basically like a shooting attack.
We gave him, I think we were trying out Biomancer, so we were able to buff up the strength and toughness of the unit, but also, if you wanted to get into combat, you can buff him up and make him like strength 10 rending.
Which is pretty scary. It makes the Contemptors
they're not keen to be going too close to him.
Yeah.
And obviously there is generic powers, like he did have his lightning power, which I think he was firing off every so often.
Yeah, I mean, when he got a chance, he was using it, wasn't he, which was really useful.
Yeah, and they're a lot less intimidating to use now and streamlined, so I think you'll see a lot more use of them, just because it's
I won't be using them. Death Guard, we don't like psychic powers. We're not Callous Typhons lot.
This is why you need to add in some word bearers like I'm
doing.
So they can do the witchy poo stuff, and then you can have then the Death Guard can be the.
Well, keep it pure. And talking of which, Lewis, what are you working on going on into 2.0?
Super. So this year I've been working on Death Guard, similar to you.
Yeah.
I've got a lot more painted Death Guard than you do.
You do. This is true. And you had to get that one in there, didn't you?
But I've been playing a lot with the Dark Angels. I think this new edition, it's going to be hard for me because I want to add stuff to the Dark Angels and to the Death Guard. Yeah. I've been starting to get tempted with maybe starting some Emperor's Children, so it's looking expensive anyway. Whatever happens with this new edition. Hopefully my wife doesn't see this.
Yeah, hopefully Amber isn't watching this. But as Lewis said, he has more painted Death Guard than me. But unlike Lewis, I am pure Death Guard through and through. So all I have is the Death Guard.
It's just a dalliance for me. For you, it's a way of life. Although you need more dedication, you need to get some paint on.
I do need to get some paint on. However, Lewis is the quickest man in Heresy. Honestly, I've never seen somebody just throw paint on Rhinos, throw paint on Death Guard, throw paint on Militia, and it just come out looking so good. Really, you just smash through them, doesn't it?
Might be quick at painting, but not quick at playing the game.
Yeah, he's the quickest painter in Heresy, the slowest player, which Dan at Brum will tell everyone is he always has to kick Lewis out at 10.
Need time. I need to start me early.
Lewis is going to be the reason we have to bring in chess clocks, honestly. But yeah, so going into 2.0, I'm working on Death Guard, as I've said. Haven't got any painted yet. I will be painting some soon. I'm doing a sort of foot slug infantry force with the aid of some drop pod veteran units, which I think is going to be really cool. It's not the most competitive force. I've gone for 7 units of 10 infantry because, you know, we're all about number 7. And then Nurgle's number, which is 3, we're all about number 3. So we've got 3 Contemptors, we've got 3 drop pods. I'm looking at 3 Rhinos. So it's all about the 7s and the 3s when I'm building my force. And I'm aiming for 2,500 points. I know, Lewis, you have a little bit more than that in your Dark Angels, don't you?
Yeah, I think I've got more than that in the Death Guard now, but it's
not a competition at the end of the day.
It's definitely injected some new blood into both armies, and it's going to be interesting to see what people do with all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some of the rights of war are really interesting, and more specifically the advanced reactions, which are once per game abilities that you can spend. So essentially, each player gets a number of reactions each turn. For Death Guard, during the opponent's shooting phase, when you're targeted by an attack, you can use their advanced reaction, which is called Remorseless Advance, which lets you get a 4 up feel no pain, and after it's resolved, make a 7-inch move, which is really powerful, really thematic for the Death Guard, as they're just inexorable, they're just unstoppable, and they'll do nothing, even in the face of pure gunfire, they'll carry on advancing, which I feel is really thematic. I know some people think reactions are gotchas, but I think it's more about the clarity between the two players, whether it ends up being a gotcha situation. I don't know what you think, Lewis.
I think, as you said, I think as long as people are aware what you can do, and you're quite happy to point things out to people to say watch out, because obviously this is something that can catch you out, then it's not going to be a bad time for anyone. Whereas I think if you treat it as a gotcha, like a trap card or something like that, then you might. I can see some people being a bit annoyed by it, because obviously some of these they can turn the tables quite quickly.
Yeah, some of them are very powerful, and
the Space Wolf one charging you if you go with him.
Yeah, so just a heads up, anyone that plays Space Wolves, they can charge you when you least expect it. So definitely got to make sure to ask your opponent and be super clear. But overall, I think going into 2.0, Age of Darkness is looking better than it ever has before. I didn't play that much of 1.0, like Lewis said, but I really enjoyed the games I did have, except for losing my Contemptors at every given opportunity. So 2.0 is going to be good. Join us down at Brum on the 18th when the box releases. Brum still have quite a few boxes in their allocation left to sell, so if you'd like to pre-order one, you can get one from those guys. Just message them on Facebook. They're selling the box at a 20% discount, I believe, which it's already a great deal, isn't it? £180 for what? 40 Marines, 2 Praetors, 10 Terminators, a Contemptor and a Spy. Already great. 20% off, even better. So get in touch with Brum if you're looking to pre-order. And we'll see you all in 2.0. Lewis, thanks for joining me, mate.
Thanks for having me.
No worries at all.
So guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and feel free to leave any thoughts you have down in the comments below. I just want to give a big shout out to all of the supporters of Web Warrior Protocols that have made this all possible, and a huge humble thank you to all of the channel's patrons. The support from Patreon goes towards buying new equipment for the channel and helps to improve the quality of the videos moving forward. If you'd like to support the channel, you can find a link to the Patreon down below in the description, as well as links to all of the channel's social media. A huge thank you to Lewis from Horus Heresy Birmingham for joining me, and I'm sure he'll be back again on the channel soon.